mic, please.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, for me, very glad to participate in this conference, and thank you, Latvia, for this organizing particular common position of three Baltic states, first of all, and second, to possibility to discuss about very actual and intensive discussions about next programming period, next cohesion policy, how it should be, how we can implement much more better it. But of course, I agree we should understand the global way where we are now, what kind of different challenges or different changes and complexity we have in starting from political situation and differences in the global world. I think that what kind of position European Union is leader or not in the global world changes. And in the same way, we have a lot of differences between the countries inside the European Union, and at the same time, we anytime demonstrate the possibility to have common position, starting from three Baltic states, but very important to have common position in European Union, in all European Unions. There is main value, maybe in different way, different situation when European Union countries have possibility to agree on the common strategy priorities, and maybe most important priorities for the next programming period. But all challenges in global way, we can see like a challenge or maybe like opportunity to be leaders and to be a new innovative technologies organize and show how modern can be European Union. And when we are starting to discuss about differences between the countries, of course, we should understand that convergence, it's very important, but effective of this cohesion policy is more than important when we are talking about equal growing or more growing quickly in the new member states. I couldn't say the new member states, but of course, compared with the West Europe part, new member states growing should be much more faster than the West, but in general, we should grow together. But when we are talking in common position and priorities for cohesion policy, it's not possible to have unite or universal strategy for all countries, because differences between and within the region, within the country regions, also is very huge, I can say, because in Lithuania we see in general very fast economical growth, and we are proud with our results, and we can say that we can be a good example for all European countries how complexity together, regulation, structural reforms, and cohesion policy investments have good added value for the country economic growth. But when we're talking within Lithuania regions, we have totally different situation in the capital region and compare with the other regions in Lithuania. There, when we are programming our priorities for the future, anytime we have in mind our regions, because the needs and priorities totally different for the future. But in general, what I mentioned when in press conference, that we are not so satisfied with European Commission position because for the future of cohesion policy. Of course, I wouldn't repeat what's said from the Latvian colleagues and other countries that this radically cut of cohesion policy, which is the most important policy when we are talking about growing all European Union countries. I don't think that it's a good solution, but when we are talking about, for example, the Baltic states who proud and present effective of cohesion policy, this cuts means very sensitive and very dangerous situation when we are talking about continue of our works, what is done with structural reforms, because this should be continuous for the future when we are talking about our economical growth, and when we plus together not only cut but co-finance rate and eligibility changes of VAT, for example, other changes in regulations, what was proposed, there is radical and significant maybe thing to reshape European Commission position and to think how it should be more flexible and more maybe attract the economical situation. Second, maybe what is conditional important for the cohesion policy success stories, effectiveness of investments. When we are talking just about money, it is nothing means, because we can spend a lot of money but not to achieve any results. But when we are talking complexity of strategy, common strategy, very clear strategy for the future, together with a legal requirements review, together with structural reforms, and when we put investment together with these things, what I mentioned before, it could be very good results and could be, but when we are talking about just single investment, I don't believe that it could be effect. One of the examples from the past, in Lithuania, maybe I can mention our broadband investments. There is just a good idea to invest to the good internet, but after that, complexity and our strategy in IT sector push us to other level when we are discussing with the foreign investors, because Lithuania at this moment it's most attractive country to come and invest and work together in our country. The same I can say about Science Valley, where we have today very good infrastructure and very good possibility to attract highest level researchers and work together with our enterprises and to push our education system and research development system in the other level, much more higher level. There is maybe structural reforms when we are talking about education, other social areas. That is most important when we are talking about foreign investments for the enterprises, what is important for them for the growing. Of course, what I mentioned, I very believe on financial instruments future. Why? Because it is combination and common work together with private investors. And private investors usually are very practically, and public investments also go together and push more and more multiplication of investments. From the practice, we start investments in financial instruments not from the current programming period. We use this possibility in 2030, and today we have very good results when we have possibility to invest third and fourth time the same amount of money from the funds from the past. Multiplication from financial instruments in Lithuania started from the 2 part till 6 times more investments if we spend, compare with the spent in subsidies, like spend, invest, and wait for economical effect, and to invest to the financial instrument together to attract the private resources, and after that to invest second or third part reflows from the funds. And of course, the story never ends. Simplification. Management control systems should help us to attract or to rapid changes in the global world. If we are talking about cohesion policy like a main strategy for the investments to technology, to the innovations, to be leaders in these sectors, maybe we can demonstrate by ourselves how our management control system could attract and could implement these innovations and new technologies. How we can be smoothly and quickly with the procedures and simple procedures and orientate more and more to the results, not to the procedures, how to correct way to do all our jobs. And calculate more results, not eligibility accounting. And finally, maybe just come back to the global world and changes. I would like to believe that European Union will find a common solution. We continue with a strong strategies and very clear priorities. First of all, we should agree what kind of Europe we would like to see after 10 or 20 years. And I wouldn't see Europe to fly very slow and low. I would like to wish all of us to fly high and fast together.